Good day, learners. In today's lesson, we will be looking at the 2018 March Control Test, and the purpose of this lesson is to assist you in gaining exposure to examination questions and answers. So firstly, we will read the comprehension passage and answer the questions. Thereafter, we will focus on language aspects. Cheetah School program gives lesson on conservation. When Shadow the cheetah first visited Lita Primary School in Guguletu, Cape Town 2 years ago, the deputy principal, Teboho Kabele, did not know what to expect. A few of his 600 pupils had only caught a glimpse of a sleek cat in a book. Most of the children had grown up in shacks and crowded hostels and had never seen a cheetah before. They were torn between excitement and fear. But the camera-loving cheetah, dubbed a classroom superstar by Kabele, took in his stride. Shadow lounged on the classroom table purring as hundreds of school children stroked him. Many of our kids have never ever been to the zoo and live in such poor conditions, says Kabele. But meeting a wild animal like this arouses their interest in the environment. Some of them have written letters begging for the cheetah to come back. We can't wait for that day. 8-year-old Shadow is known to sulk during school holidays when children are not at school, says Don Glover, the education officer at the Cheetah Outreach Center in Stellenbosch. From the success of this experience, the center introduced in 1997 the novel idea of educating young pupils about the importance of protecting the fastest land mammal. It has taken captive-bred cheetahs like Shadow to schools in the province's poorest townships of Langa, Khayelitsha, and Guguletu. We started out very simply by going to any school that contacted us. Now we visit AIDS orphanages, township schools, street kids, havens, and shopping malls with our cheetahs, says Glover. The center's 10 cheetahs, a few of whom serve as ambassadors, are housed at the 2HA Sphere Wine Estate and are hand-raised from the time they are 3 months old. The cheetahs are born at the De Welt Cheetah and Wildlife Center near Pretoria. This center has gained international acclaim for bringing the cheetah back from the brink of extinction through its captive breeding programs. De Welt plans to launch its own education program in Gauteng, Mpumalanga, and Limpopo later this month. Marilyn Hull, De Welt's education officer, says it took the decision to visit schools and communities with the cheetahs because of the animals' declining numbers in South Africa. It took a long time for us to decide to do this. Taming an animal is not an ideal situation, but there are less than 1,000 left in South Africa. Education is the only way to go. Indeed, it seems that this education is overdue. It is believed that the world's remaining 10,000 cheetahs have only 15 years left before they become extinct. For Glover, this alarming prediction that seems to seal the fate of the elegant and aristocratic animal must not be allowed to be realized. Glover and her team of cheetahs and cheetah lovers visit about 14,000 children a year. Half of these are children scattered in townships whose only encounter with an animal is a mangy dog or a starved cat. Most of these kids don't have electricity, never mind TV, says Glover. These are the learners who are growing up to run our country, yet they don't have a broader awareness of their natural heritage. She adds further that the broad mix of children in the Western Cape is even more disadvantaged because of a lack of exposure to ecotourism and its environmental and financial benefits. The conservation message is two-pronged, says Glover. When we introduce really young children to the cheetah, it's a matter of saying, this is a cheetah, it's got spots. We start by teaching them that wild animals are beautiful and gorgeous, and then we try to get that emotional interaction going. Older children in high schools are taught that conservation goes hand in hand with a pristine environment and creates jobs. We explain that wildlife brings tourism, which then provides jobs, says Glover. However, not all the cheetahs are natural superstars. A few don't enjoy meeting people and prefer tourists visiting them at the compound at the Sphere Estates, says Glover. Cheetahs in captivity can live up for up to 12 years. The center's cheetahs live comfortably. They consume 1.5 kilograms of raw meat a day and share bedrooms with Glover and her team at night. They are born in captivity and don't have the instincts to survive in the wild. To let you sleep with them shows a lot of trust on their side. Then we take them to a group of children and they start trusting them, says Glover. Tammy Filhani, a science teacher at Zimasa Primary School in Langa, says many poor South Africans are ignorant about wildlife. It's important to know the interrelationships that we have with animals. Meeting these cheetahs has made us realize that environmental education is broad. It's not only a focus on plants in the garden. As teachers, it has changed our perception about the animals that exist and how we must learn to take care of them, she said. So that was a comprehension passage. So now we are going to look through the questions. Question 1.1. Refer to paragraph 1. Identify the name of the school and its principal that Shadow the Cheetah first visited. So the name of the school is Lita Primary School and the principal is Teboho Kebele. 1.2. Refer to paragraph 2. Explain why the children from the school were not familiar with cheetahs. So the children came from a background that was not privileged. So they grew up in poverty, they grew up in shacks and crowded hostels, and they'd never seen a cheetah before. And the only time that they had seen one is in a book. If we look at 1.3, refer to paragraph 3. How do you know that Shadow the cheetah enjoyed the attention of the school children? Substantiate your answer with reference to the text. So when you are asked a question like this and you are asked to substantiate your answer with reference to the text, you have to say what the text says to support what you are saying. So you should say, according to the text, Shadow lounged on the table purring. This shows he enjoyed the attention, he was content and relaxed. Also, you could mention the fact that hundreds of school children stroked him. This shows that he enjoyed the attention because he allowed the children to stroke him. If we look at 1.4, discuss the purpose of Shadow visiting the school. So many of the children at the school had never seen a wild animal before, and meeting these animals, like the cheetah helped to create interest in the environment and awareness of issues that are related to the environment. If we look at 1.5, refer to paragraph 12 and 13. So here you are referring specifically to these paragraphs. Discuss the decision that Marilyn Hill had to make and provide a reason for the decision. So she decided that the cheetahs would visit schools and communities, and this decision was made to create awareness of their declining numbers and to educate children about the importance of preserving and saving their heritage and the environment and the animals in these environments. If we look at 1.6, refer to paragraph 18 and 19, discuss the message that Glover wants to send out to the children in the Western Cape. So Glover wants to teach the children that wild animals are beautiful. High school children are taught that conservation is a good environment, is good and the environment in the environment, and it is important to create good jobs. So this is what is taught in both the primary and the high school. So you're going to look at primary school learners seeing that animals are beautiful and elegant has made reference to in these paragraphs, and also the idea that conservation is important for the economy as it assists in creating jobs. If we look at 1.7, refer to paragraphs 25 and 26. Who is Tammy Filani? Discuss her opinion about the visit of cheetahs to different schools. So Tammy Filhani is a science teacher at Zimasa Primary School. She believes that the visit of cheetahs to schools is a positive aspect to the school environment. It assists in broadening the environmental education, and it allows learners to gain awareness and knowledge about the idea that it is important to take care of the environment and the animals that live in there. If we look at 1.8, do you believe that wild animals should be tamed? Justify your answer, and this is your own response. You could agree or disagree, but remember the important aspect here is to justify your response with relevant answers. Let's go on to the language aspect, and this is based on language editing skills. Swazi cheetah eventually saved by SA vets. Red tape and delays resulting from public holidays nearly spelled disaster for a Swaziland cheetah which had to wait over a week for a permit to enter South Africa for medical treatment. But thanks to the efforts of a team of veterinarians and conservationists, the prognosis for the animal, which was finally operated on an Underwood Veterinary Academic Hospital yesterday is good. After the initial report of a lame cheetah had come in, staff at the Helani Royal National Park took 3 days to track down the wounded animal, eventually spotting it last Friday. By the time it arrived in Pretoria, veterinarians feared that the wound might have become so infected that they would be left with no other choice but B, put the animal down. The cheetah had been taken to the Devout Cheetah Breeding Center for observation. So this is the text that they are giving us, and they are asking us to correct the errors in this text by focusing on the language aspects. So if we look at 2.1, replace the underlined word in paragraph 1 with a suitable antonym. Now, if we are looking at an antonym, that is the opposite of the word. So if you're looking at the word enter, the opposite would be to leave or exit. 2.2, explain the function of commas in paragraph 2. So if we look at paragraph 2, there is the comma there. So the function here of the comma is to provide additional information and to separate it from the main sentence. Can you see it says but? That provides additional information and separates it from the main sentence. If we look at 2.3, replace the underlined words in paragraph 3 with a suitable synonym. Now, if you recall, synonyms are words that have the same meaning. So if we look at the word that's underlined here, it's track down, and a synonym for that word would be to find or locate. If we move on to question 2.4, fill in the missing prepositions in paragraph 4, A and B. So prepositions tell us place. So if we look here, by the time it arrived, A would be in Pretoria. If we look at B, Pretoria, veterinarians feared that the wound might have become so infected that they would have to be left with no other choice than B would be to put the animal down. If we're looking at question 2.5, rewrite the sentence in paragraph 5 in the past tense. So let's look at the sentence in paragraph 5. So we're looking at this whole sentence here. The cheetah has been taken to the devout cheetah breeding center for observation. And to rewrite this in the past tense, it would be the cheetah had been taken to the devout cheetah breeding center for observation. Not has been, it will change to had been taken. Let's look at 2.6. Identify and write down one fact from this article. So we're looking at a fact. So it's basically a fact is something that is provided with evidence, whereas opinion is based on your own opinion or your own viewpoint of something. So if we look here, a point of a fact would be that the cheetah had to wait over a week for a permit to enter South Africa. So that is a fact. It is something that has happened. It's something that is true. It's not based on your opinion or something or your own viewpoint. So that concludes the paper for today, and I hope this assists you in understanding what is expected from you in an examination paper and how you would go about answering the question.